What's up, guys? It's Casey Zogelman, aka the fourth Sanderson sister, coming at you with another Hocus Pocus 2 theory, talk, I don't know what to call it video. So, we have talked extensively on this channel about whether or not the Sanderson sisters are going to get a redemption arc in Hocus Pocus 2. Well, after compiling as much evidence as I have in the last several videos I did on this topic, I'm going to say the likelihood is pretty high at this point. Now, how much redemption is up for debate, but an even bigger query fans have is, should they be redeemed? Well, that's what we are talking about today, so take some time to think about whether or not this is a good idea, and let's get started. Okay, first off, my personal opinion. I honestly don't know if they should be redeemed or not. It's like half of me says yes, and the other half says no. And this is the best example I could come up with is I'm going to compare it to, if you've watched The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett or one or the other, I'm going to compare it to Grogu, aka Baby Yoda, choosing to be a Jedi, or if he's gonna go back to Din Djarin, or as we all call him, Mando. I didn't know what I wanted from that until they just did the thing and Grogu went back to Din, and then as soon as it happened I was like, yes, Baby Yoda, you needed to go back to your daddy, you needed to go back to the Mandalorian, just get in there and get to your dad. So that's kind of how I feel about this debacle. I don't know what I want. When I was little and I had imaginary friends, the Sanderson sisters were those friends. They've been a very big part of my life as I've grown up, and obviously continues to be a pretty big part of my life. Between growing up with it, Hocus Pocus pulling me out of a very dark place 5 years ago, and running this channel, it means the world to me. Those three characters mean so much to me, and they've been my personal heroes for most of my life. I have zero doubt in my mind that others feel the same way. I've written stories where they get redeemed, but it takes a lot of work because, well, let's face it, they're murderers. So I think to myself, do I love them because they're my personal heroes? Do I love them because they're so deliciously wicked? Or is it both? What is it? I think a lot of it is both, because they are hilarious, yet they are also super edgy villains. So I'm honestly torn, you guys, like right down the middle torn. On the one hand, I really want to see my favorite girls get their hero moment, stopping the bad guy, and having their hero entrance, and making up for the past. I want to see that. On the other hand, I just want my wicked witches with no hexes to give, and hilarious antics. So my personal opinion is I'll know what I want when the movie does the thing. Or they don't do the thing. Moving on from my personal opinion to looking at these things more objectively. From a narrative standpoint, it would make sense for them to be redeemed. I say this specifically because we are getting a childhood flashback. We are going to see the Sanderson sisters as children. This is confirmed. So in all likelihood, we will see the exact moment they became villains, or at least what spurred them to the dark side. This will be similar to what we saw with Maleficent in her film, aka her redemption arc. We saw Maleficent as a child growing up with a young man whom she grew to love, only to have him betray her and turn her to the dark side. The rest of her film was set up to redeem her character, and by the end she was the hero. Looking at Cruella's film, the same recipe was used as we saw her push towards the dark side during her childhood when her mother was killed, setting up her redemption arc for the rest of the film. They call it an origin story, but is it really? That's another video. Are you guys seeing a pattern yet? Because I am. The Sanderson sisters will also endure some kind of traumatic event in their childhood backstory that will spur their actions, but also set up their redemption. This falls in with the villain redemption arcs we have seen from Disney since 2014 when Maleficent came out. But Casey, you just said they were murderers, they follow the devil. Yes, you're right. So, let's look at some other villains who have gotten redemption. There's Marvel's Loki, Kylo Ren from Star Wars, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and throw in Darth Vader because, Disney just acquired that in the last 10 years or so. Here's the thing. These three specifically, they were genocidal and murdered countless people. Kylo Ren in the First Order blew up planets with hundreds of millions of possibly billions of people on them, and they all died. Darth Vader murdered people in cold blood, had a hand in the Death Star that also blew up Alderaan. And, all the people on that planet, he followed a devil of his own, aka Darth Sidious, and you know what? They both came back from the dark side to be redeemed in the end. Is it that far-fetched to redeem characters like the Sanderson Sisters if we look at these situations? The answer is no, it is not a far reach. So, objectively, it would make perfect sense for Disney to continue this pattern by inputting one perfect trigger and one perfect new villain to push them in the direction of good. I've talked about how I think Sarah and Mary have enough forces working in their favor that they could switch sides, but you can watch those videos by clicking on these cards. I still keep doing the wrong hand, don't I? By clicking on these cards right here, I'll learn my directions eventually. And I think it could work for those two. However, the only thing I can't really see working without probable cause and a whole lot of work is Winifred turning good. However, if you've got the right writing team and they have the right know-how, it could work. There's a lot of ways they could make it work, but if we continue the Disney pattern, there's going to be a traumatic childhood event that will begin their path to villainy and a new villain to give them a run for their money. As I've said before about the flashback, we are most likely going to see Mama Sanderson's execution and what the girls do to retaliate. As for the new villain, we all know my thoughts on that. It's going to be Mayor Trask, as he will be descended from the Reverend Trask, who killed their mother. Go watch the video if you haven't. Now let's weigh the good points and bad points about redeeming them. We love the Sanderson Sisters because they are deliciously wicked and evil. We love their insane personalities and their edgy darkness. They are also vain to a fault, and yeah, they're murderers and servants of the devil. Let's just get that out of the way right now. They are not good people, and with this ever-growing list against them, redeeming them might not set a good example for kids. However, redeeming them, even with this list of issues, would be a good way to teach children that people can change no matter what their past is. But overall, it might ruin the fun of the characters, especially from the first film. A lot of the stuff we like about them are the quirks and wackiness they have developed from being villains. They are arguably some of the best villains Disney has ever created for the simple fact that they are bad to the bone and unapologetic about it. The only reason they weren't the main characters in Hocus Pocus, you could still argue that they are. I think it's a story divided, right down the middle. The only reason they weren't the main focus was because Disney thought the movie would be too scary if they focused on the witches that much. So originally, we were supposed to have them as the protagonists, but not as good guys. Again, reminiscent of Cruella and Maleficent. Everything we love about them is because they are villains, so taking all of that stuff and telling us there was a less evil purpose to it, it's honestly kind of a bummer. Because they are such iconic Disney villains, then the sudden change of heart would be unexpected and a little jarring, if I'm being honest. We just really enjoy watching them be bad, and I don't know how they would do as heroes. It could be just as good having them on the hero side, but it could also be a bit off. We have spent 29 years loving them for the evil witches they are, and unless we are really prepared to see them do a 180 with probable cause, it's gonna feel like Once Upon a Time threw up on our story. Good things could come of this, and those would be just the fans getting to celebrate their favorite witches in the best way possible, watching them kick some major booty as good guys. The cast and crew know how much the Sanderson sisters mean to people, and maybe they want to honor that by not making us watch them die again. That'd be nice! Or at least give them a more, like, Haunted Mansion type send-off, like being reunited with their mom before disappearing into the afterlife for good, or even something a little on the darker side and freeing their souls from hell, and they get a new chance at building lives. I mean, it would be interesting. Us watching them get a happy ending would feel really good, but again, it might be weird. So that wraps up my thoughts on the topic of should the Sanderson sisters be redeemed or not in Hocus Pocus 2. My answer is honestly, I don't know. If it's a yes or a no, we will know if it was the right call, if they do the thing, or if they don't. What do you guys think? Do you think we should see the Sanderson sisters get a redemption arc, or should they remain villains? Or are you as torn as I am about it, and you want and don't want it at the same time? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you are new to my channel, please remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't. It's free, it helps me, and what helps me helps you guys get more great content like this. I'm trying very hard to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers before Hocus Pocus 2 drops tentatively on October 1st. I have a lot of stuff on the way, and when that movie drops, it's gonna get crazy around here. And if you are a regular on my channel, please remember to drop a like and comment your thoughts down below. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Casey Zogelman, aka the 4th Sanderson sister, and I will see you guys next time.
I am